Alright, yeah, so this is the bill in question, I suppose, relating to abortion, including abortions after detection of an unborn child's heartbeat. So, including abortions after the detection, so authorizing a private civil right of action. Relating to abortion, including abortions after detection of an unborn child's heartbeat. So, including abortions after the detection of authorizing. Okay. Moving Act of Legislature, State of Texas, Section 1. This act shall be known as the Texas Heartbeat Act. So, this is the Heartbeat Act. The legislature finds that Texas is never repealed. Okay, so that Heartbeat Act, I guess, was never repealed. It was never expressly or or implied, I guess. State statutes enact before ruling. That's true. Contraction, fetal heart, spark. These are all that kind of residents. Natural person dependent the same way. Any application or revision of this chapter. Okay. Or abortion statutes where use prohibits abortion may not be constructed to repeal any statute. Statute may not be constructed to restrict political subdivision from regarding the prohibition of abortion. Every statute that regulates and prohibits as follows: Commission shall enforce. If an abortion is performed or induced on a pregnant woman because of a medical emergency, the physician who performs or induces the abortion shall execute a written document that certifies the abortion is necessary due to medical emergency and specifies the woman's medical condition requiring the abortion. Okay, so it looks like you can still have, if there's a medical reason, they're still allowing some type of abortion, but the physician shall place the document described in subjection to the pregnant woman's medical record. Maintain a copy, okay, health and safety code. So consent to an abortion is voluntary and informed only if the physician who is performed to induce abortion pregnant abortion is performed. Okay, so they're still allowing abortions for medical reasons, but you need to have a really good reason, I suppose. They're provided by the commission department. Or any set of 24 hours of abortion is 2 hours. Was performed or induced because of a medical emergency or medical condition of the pregnant woman that required the abortion. Okay, so that's interesting. I was unaware. So I guess you can still get an abortion for medical reasons, but I imagine that's going to be very strict and fetal heartbeat. But yeah, so I guess this new legislation is actually just an extension of this past bill, the heartbeat bill, that was never repealed. That person. Okay, so it's unless the mother's life's in danger, can be criminally charged. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna check out some. Yeah, it's the Heartbeat Act. This is Bill 8. Yeah, so this gives the 6th week. This is the whole 6-week thing. So you can have an abortion up to 6 weeks, and that's probably. What I'm curious if you can have abortion after the 6-week pregnancy, if it is still a danger to your life without being criminally charged. It's an interesting question, but looks like they're giving you a 6-week, barely any time to actually recognize your pregnancy. Okay. But let's look at, I'm going to look at some coverage real quick. I think I want to go with. Oh, this is Abbott. This is Greg Abbott. Okay, let's hear his justification. Actually, it's actually like this is the governor of Texas here. Turn this off. Okay, there we go. Turn this up.
So I do want to get to the news that you are joining us about, which is some of these new technological and innovation-based investments in your state, specifically around a startup called Gatik, which is autonomous trucking. That being said, I think we would be remiss if we didn't ask about several of these major topics that are in the news more broadly right now, that have become not only the subjects of debate and controversy politically.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm just biased, but like they all look so evil.
Especially, but for corporate America as well. And I want to start with that so-called heartbeat bill that is being implemented in your state. Forbes is out with a survey with a headline that 2/3 of college-educated workers may avoid Texas now because of this abortion ban. What's your response?
So you do see some publications who try to categorize the Texas business environment based upon the positions that the Texas legislature takes. However, the truth of the matter shows something completely different. The Federal Reserve puts out a report every single month that shows the mobility of people moving from one state to another. Month after month after month, including the most recent month, shows that people are choosing to move to Texas more than any other state.
The reason why people are choosing to move to Texas isn't because of like anything that this man is doing. The reason why people are choosing to Texas is because Joe Rogan moved to fucking Texas. Like, let's be real.
In the United States, and it's not even close. And so, regardless of some hand-wringing by some publications, the people who are not wringing their hands are the people who create jobs, that run businesses, that care about their daily lives. And people are choosing Texas over any other state. And part of that is because of our low regulations, our no income tax. In fact, we constitutionally banned an income tax in the state of Texas. But we have a terrific business climate, which is exactly why Gatik, for example, chose to come to the state of Texas. And
he didn't answer the question at all, though. Like, he's just saying
innovation.
That they have a good business climate, but the question's about the abortion law.
And so companies are choosing Texas because it has the superior business climate.
I totally understand that, and certainly Texas consistently ranks high on CNBC's list of top states for business, but right or wrong, for better or worse, I mean, you do have businesses that have not been shy to react to some of these political or social topics as of late, be it whether it's the abortion situation, whether it is some of the voting laws that are being implemented. We've certainly seen that happen in Georgia.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. They put this up just to prove them wrong. Texas number 4. Virginia, number 1? What? Why?
The process of implementing some voting reforms in Texas as well that are getting a lot of attention. Maybe it's because of their workforces, maybe it's because of investors insisting on ESG, but aren't you worried that some of the major employers in your state are going to respond negatively or potentially pull investment or donation dollars in light of some of these topics?
Great question.
So first, again, we continue to see a massive influx of these employers coming in the state of Texas because, candidly, not only do they like the business environment, but Morgan, you need to understand that there's a lot of businesses and a lot of Americans who like the social positions that the state of Texas is taking. It's very important that I address one thing that you raised because it kind of explains part of this process. You raised the issue about the election integrity law that did just pass the Texas legislature and that it will be signing. And if you go back a few months in time, back when Major League Baseball moved its All-Star game out of Atlanta, and there was a big to-do in the state of Texas between Texas as well as Major League Baseball about that, as well as some big companies in the state of Texas that came out and criticized the state of Texas for the position that we were taking. But Morgan, this is important. When they learned the facts of what the election integrity law does in the state of Texas, they realized that Texas was adding more time to vote. Texas was making it easier to vote
the question completely. Now I was talking about voting.
Let me just give you one quick example, and that is Texas has almost 2 weeks of early voting to make it very easy.
I find it very interesting that he doesn't actually want to talk about this abortion bill at all. He's doing everything possible to avoid the conversation.
And in the president's home state of Delaware, they have 0 days of early voting. So it's far easier for people to vote in Texas or even in New York than it is in so many other places. And so if people look at the facts, they realize, wait a second, Texas really is a well-governed state.
So I just want to put a fine point on this. Are you saying that all of these policies are actually helping to bolster business right now?
Again, people vote with their feet, and this is
People
not
vote with their
slowing
feet?
down businesses coming to the state of Texas at all. In fact, it is accelerating the process of businesses coming to Texas, particularly, Morgan, interestingly, they are leaving the very liberal state of
Again,
California.
they're leaving liberal states like California because of climate change. They're moving to places like Texas because the climate's a little more consistent. Plus, when we see a large group of the liberal, I guess, side moving from California to Texas, like, a lot of that has to do with the influencers choosing to do that. That's why I brought up Joe Rogan. When he did that, it pretty much gave a bunch of other influencers and, I guess, popular figures leeway to actually move to Texas. Plus, Texas is very lenient when it comes to taxes. So, I mean, they just want to keep their money.
And I got to tell you, whether it be Elon Musk, who I talk to frequently, Elon had to get out of California because, in part of the social policies in California, and
Has nothing to do with the social policies. Nothing to do with social policies. It's literally the weather.
Elon consistently tells me that he likes the social policies in the state of Texas.
Social policies meaning the tax policy.
If you wake up thinking about the markets and want to make the right moves
Let's
fast,
see.
get Decision Tech.
So Abbott's position is that Texas is just really good for businesses, and regardless of any legislation that he supports, I mean, people love Texas. But I want to see if he actually. Okay, is this the only? Oh, here we go. Well, actually, okay. So he actually name dropped Elon Musk in this interview. So let's get Musk's response.
Don't like surprises? Proactive notifications from Fidelity keep you tuned
Full
in
disclosure, I'm not an Elon Musk
all
fan at
day
all.
long. So when something
just
happens
putting
that
that
can
out there.
affect your portfolio, you can act quickly. That's Decision Tech, only from Fidelity.
Elon Musk is tweeting, and when he tweets, there's some sweets. And this is in response to an interview on CNBC earlier today. Let's get to Julia Borston to explain it all for us. Hi, Julia.
All right, we'll see if Elon Musk.
Hi, Tyler.
likes
Well,
the
Texas
social
Governor
policies.
Greg Abbott defending the state's restrictive abortion laws in an interview on Squawk on the Street this morning. He pointed to support for the state's policies from Elon Musk, who moved to Texas. Take a listen.
And I got to tell you, whether it be Elon Musk, who I talk to frequently, Elon had to get out of California because, in part of the social policies in California, and Elon consistently tells me that he likes the social policies in the state of Texas.
But Elon Musk responded on Twitter saying, quote, in general, I believe government should rarely
So in general, I believe government should rarely impose its will upon people, and when doing so, should aspire to maximize their cumulative happiness. That said, I would prefer to stay out of politics.
impose its will
Okay.
upon the people, and when doing so, should aspire to maximize their cumulative happiness. That said, I would prefer to stay out of politics. Well, it sounds like Musk does not agree with the law and does not agree with Governor Abbott, but doesn't want to say it directly. Kelly?
All right, Julia Borston with the latest there.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it does kind of sound like that. Otherwise, he would have just came out and supported it. But yeah, those social policies, those dang social policies in California. I'm gonna let's see if Sam. So this will be the last thing I kind of look at. I'm gonna read the bill completely later, but
Let's also now move to what's taking place in Texas. We have been talking about this. We brought up this law, SB8, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the law's
in Texas when
SB8.
it passed months ago. And SB8 says that the law was passed, and it's a little bit complicated because this was done with a specific intent to protect it from federal court intervention. The law was passed that said it is illegal to abet an abortion.
so like it's illegal to help someone get an abortion too. So like if you drive someone to get an abortion, like that's a criminal charge in Texas now. If someone calls you and tells you I'm getting an abortion and you don't actively try to stop them, I guess, or don't inform anybody, you can be criminally charged because you're abetting.
And so that means that if you are an abortion provider, you're abetting abortion. If you are a taxi cab driver, an Uber driver driving somebody to get an abortion, you're abetting an abortion. If you have, if you're an
It's
NGO that
fucking
provides,
ridiculous.
subsidies or help or advice.
If you're a family member,
If you're a
that drives
family
the
member, I mean,
woman to her appointment.
and
People with ADHD save 10 hours studying with this Chrome extension. But no, by all means.
But the law also prevents Texas state government officials from enforcing the law. Instead, it empowers anybody.
Oh yeah, right. This isn't even about like Texas officials being able to enforce it. Like, I think the primary way that this law is even going to be enforced is by like private citizens suing each other.
Texas citizens, but anybody, to go in and sue somebody for abetting someone's abortion with the financial incentive of winning $10,000 worth of damages against them and attorney fees. Anybody can do this.
You have standing. You have standing. You have standing.
Heritage Foundation has standing. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
And the reason why they did this is because when you are suing, or looking for redress on a law that is passed in a state that is unconstitutional, because the Supreme Court has deemed that it is unconstitutional to ban abortion, to ban an abortion before 22 to 24 weeks or fetal viability. It is a unconstitutional abridgment of a woman's right to an abortion. What will happen is, generally, they will sue, plaintiffs will sue, someone who wants an abortion will sue a state official to make that question rise into or enter into federal court to be addressed. In fact, there is a Supreme Court case that they're going to hear this year. I think it's coming from Mississippi.
Yeah, it's a
that is a 15 weeks,
15 weeks, right?
15-week ban, or after 15 weeks, abortion is banned, and it's a test of Roe v. Wade. But this Texas case came up. A district court in Texas, federal district court judge, enjoined this law from taking effect as of September 1. But the Fifth Circuit, which is a very conservative federal circuit, not only vacated the district court's enjoyment of this law, but then...
So another interesting thing about this law, actually, is any, I guess, facility that allows for abortion, if the physician is sued because he's giving an abortion, that facility gets shut down. So it's literally just a matter of time before there's no abortion clinics in Texas either. But what I found really interesting is Lyft and Uber's position on this. Because that's a real concern, that like if you get an Uber or a Lyft to an abortion clinic, the driver could potentially sue you. But they just came out with this statement. They adjusted their TOS, and they will pay drivers legal fees if they're sued under abortion law. So if anyone tries to sue during like a Lyft or Uber ride, the Lyft and Uber will actually pay the legal fees. Which I think is a pretty excellent stance for them to take. And this actually runs contrary to what Abbott was just saying about businesses loving the social policies of Texas. They love it so much, then why do they have to do something directly opposed to legislation? But yeah, the very sad thing about this whole situation is that it's really just a matter of time before there's no abortion clinics in Texas at all, and that service just won't be available in Texas unless something happens. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for now. I have to go to work, but I'm gonna read up on this. I'm gonna completely read the whole bill. I just kind of skimmed it, just kind of paraphrased the bill this time, but I'm gonna read up on it completely, see if there's anything else that's interesting. But this will definitely be a topic that I'm gonna bring up this weekend at this pro-life barn dance event. I know that they're gonna be more than willing to talk about it, so yeah.